Here's our special October 27th, 2020 edition of Spy Movie News with more Mission Impossible news. But wait, No Time to Die might stream? We're going to talk about that. No Time to Die soundtrack, jetpack scene flying in Los Angeles, and more. Hi, this is Dan Silvestri of SpyMovieNavigator.com with another very special edition of Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. No Time to Die might stream? All right, before we get into the rest of the news, let's talk No Time to Die and possible streaming of the movie. In an article at imore.com, they claim there are rumors that MGM is in talks with Apple TV and Netflix about streaming rights to No Time to Die, as MGM is under pressure to make some money after all the release delays. Wow, this would be huge. The rumor is Apple TV and Netflix are in the lead, and that the amounts of money being talked about are enormous. There's a bidding war going on, and we will see who the winner is if there is one. Does this mean maybe both a theatrical release, where possible, and streaming release? Stay tuned to Spy Movie News for more news when it breaks. Mission Impossible 7 returns to Italy after coronavirus shutdown. After their filming in Venice was shut down early in the pandemic, the Mission Impossible 7 crew has returned to Italy, and Cruise and company have been spotted in Rome. So, they just shot scenes in Norway and in the UK and are now back in Italy. Wow, they really are the impossible mission for us. See Collider.com for all the details. And also see Euronews.com for a similar story and video of Tom Cruise waving to the fans. And continuing our Mission Impossible 7 coverage, CinemaBlend.com reports that Tom Cruise was seen atop a moving train and has now been seen doing a car crash scene along with Haley Atwell. What is seen is after the crash, and Cruise trying to get Atwell out of the crashed car. Hints at another great stunt. Check out the article, After Mission Impossible 7 filmed on a moving train, Tom Cruise moved onto a car crash at cinemablend.com for all the details. Our opinion? Cruise is just amazing. He has done it all, from flying jets, doing halo dives, motorcycle stunts, climbing stunts, martial art kicks. And now, at 58, is still going strong. Impressive. The hype building for Mission Impossible 7 is tremendous. And Cruise and company can be a genuine threat to the Bond franchise if they keep doing things right. And don't forget, Mission Impossible 8 has already been announced and planned for about a year after Mission Impossible 7 is released. Mission Impossible 7 release date is theoretically November 19th, 2021. Mission Impossible 8 is scheduled for November 4th, 2022. Remember, in a Cinema Blend article on May 15th, 2020, writer-director Christopher McQuarrie recently told the Light Diffuse podcast that the decision to go with 2 films came out of the need to have the space to tell a compelling, emotional story, not simply for lead character Ethan Hunt, but the rest of the IMF team as well. Again, cinemablend.com. Check it out. But these days, who knows? What we think about this puts a lot more pressure on the Bond franchise, who has had to date about 6 years between the last Bond film and the tentative release date of April 2021 for No Time to Die. All right, speaking of No Time to Die, let's move on to that. Here's some news. We're still disappointed about another delay. Yeah, sure. But there is still news to talk about. The Wall Street Journal has a nice feature article on Cary Fukunaga, dated October 10th, 2020, entitled Director Cary Joji Fukunaga on directing the delayed James Bond film No Time to Die. It's an enlightening article on the writer-director of the movie, his accomplishments, his feelings, and what it was like filming a Bond movie. Fun read. Check it out at WSJ.com. Yeah, and you could pre-order the soundtrack for No Time to Die, as reported by the Spy Command in October. They say that Hans Zimmer's website has a listing of the 21 track titles. So, that might be a bit of a spoiler for you. So proceed at your own risk. And who will be the next James Bond? Man, lots of speculation about that. But in an article entitled Daniel Craig's James Bond Replacement Hasn't Been Chosen Yet, yeah, they say Barbara Broccoli has confirmed that the next James Bond actor will be chosen after No Time to Die comes out, and further claims that Eon and the powers that be have not decided yet on who will succeed Craig in that role. And they say they will not make that decision until after No Time to Die is released, hinting that the role will be, once again, reimagined Our opinion, even if they have someone in mind for the next James Bond, there's no way that is going to be announced prior to Craig finishing off his role as 007, meaning it will be after the big splash of its release and run. They can't diminish No Time to Die considering everything that's already happened. And in another article at MovieWeb.com, Daniel Craig has some simple advice for the next James Bond, whoever it is. Don't F it up, he said. But he offered a bit more. It's a beautiful, amazing thing. Leave it better than when you found it. Okay. Jetpacks flying in L.A. What? Yikes. Check LATimes.com for this one. Recently in Los Angeles, California, in the U.S., there was a report from a pilot near LAX International Airport that read, quote, Tower, American 1997. We just passed a guy in a jetpack. And a few moments later, a JetBlue airliner, quote, we just saw the guy pass us up in a jetpack. Holy jeez, really? All right, well, remember Thunderball and Bond's escape from the French chateau via the jetpack, but hey, this is for real? Lots of investigations going on, but in reality, there are very few jetpacks around, and a company, Chatsworth-based Jetpack Aviation, which has actually created 5 jetpacks that are worn like Bond wore his on the back, says they know where all their jetpacks are, and they cannot fly as high as reported because of fuel consumption. There's just not enough fuel to fly that high. One report was like 6,000 feet. So, not enough fuel to fly that high and land. Who knows what it was? Maybe a drone is one theory, which come in many shapes and sizes. The FBI is investigating. Check LATimes.com for the full story. HollywoodReport.com, they just published an article called Christie Granted Patent That Would Let Cinemas Stream Movies to the Home. In an article, it's claimed that this technology enables exhibitors to securely show customer premium cinematic content on their own terms, opening an additional potential revenue stream in these difficult times. This technology basically is set up to, quote, allow the theater to deliver content over IP networks directly from the cinema to consumers' homes, the company explained. Wow, check out HollywoodReport.com's October 15th article on this for all the exciting details. All right, and here's our last piece on No Time to Die, and we're going to give you a little spoiler alert just in case. Of course, this is all in the public already, but proceed at your own risk or stop now. In a recent October 12, 2020 article by Mike Reyes entitled How No Time to Die Opening Scene Will Break from James Bond Traditions, this is in the public at cinemablend.com. They claim the opening for No Time to Die will not be that fast-paced or action pre-title sequence that we have come accustomed to. Rather, we're going to see something of a slower-paced opening, even devoid of Bond. Something much more emotional might be coming our way. Of course, Russia would love Bond wasn't in the pre-title sequence as well, so okay. All right. Again, this might be continuing with the spoiler alert, but it's in the article. And it reports that the pre-title might be a very long sequence of flashbacks of Madeline Swan's childhood. The article reminds us that in Spectre, Swan refers to something traumatic that happened in her childhood. Remember that. There's a lot of detail in the article with some quotes from Cary Fukunaga, revealing in some ways what might be happening. So, head to the article if you will, cinemablend.com. Also see IndieWire.com for another well-written article on the same subject entitled Cary Fukunaga's No Time to Die opening brings back the It horror movie he never made, giving us even more details on Cary Fukunaga's pre-title sequence concept. Okay, check that out. All right, the spoiler alert's really complete now. Our opinion makes us wonder what other icons and things we have come to expect in a Bond movie will be busted in No Time to Die. We still have to wait. This wraps up our spy movie news for October 27, 2020, and our focus on Mission Impossible, No Time to Die, and James Bond, and some industry news. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter @Spy Navigator, and Instagram too. Subscribe right now to our Cracking the Code of Spy Movie show on your favorite podcast app, like the one you're listening with now. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.